Thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi, our spokesperson, and also the provincial spokesperson, Comrade Van Ley. He thinks I don't know you. How can I appoint you and then I don't know you? Comrade Van Ley and the leadership of the provincial task team of the ANC KwaZulu-Natal, led by Comrade Jeff Radebe, and the entire team of the top 6 of KZN. The ladies and gentlemen of the media, the African National Congress commends our structures and members in KwaZulu-Natal for their discipline and unwavering commitment to the movement while awaiting the resolutions of the National Executive Committee. This patience and political maturity are a testament to the enduring legacy of the ANC leadership in the province, which has produced stalwarts such as John Langalbalele Dube, Chief Albert Lutuli, Isaka Pixley Kaseme, Eric Wala, R.D. Naidu, and Moses Mapida. These icons exemplified resistance, unity, and a deep-rooted dedication to the cause of liberation and transformation. Today, our cadres in KwaZulu-Natal continue in their footsteps, demonstrating that the center has indeed held. The ANC remains resolute in its mission to build and strengthen the organization in this key province, ensuring that we are prepared for the battles ahead. Our movement has faced formidable challenges, yet through collective resolve and adherence to organizational discipline, we have consistently emerged stronger. The reconfiguration of the provincial leadership is a decisive intervention to reinforce our structures, renew the movement, and consolidate our presence in a province that plays a crucial role in the political and economic trajectory of South Africa. The NEC, during its meeting on the 18th to 19th January 2025, reaffirmed the strategic importance of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng in the national transformation agenda. These two provinces not only have the largest populations, but also hold significant economic weight, making them critical to the country's development. Recognizing the electoral setbacks of 2024, the NEC undertook an extensive and reflective discussion on the state of organization, renewal, and rebuilding efforts, with the unity of the ANC as the primary objective. The NEC received a comprehensive report from the National Working Committee, presented by the Secretary General, detailing the challenges faced by the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. The intervention approved by the NEC seeks to strengthen the movement by integrating experienced leadership with a renewed commitment to political education, organizational discipline, and grassroots mobilization. This approach ensures that the ANC remains the vanguard of progressive change in the province and the country. Following rigorous debate, the National Executive Committee resolved that decisive action was imperative, and a passive approach was not an approach. The reconfiguration of leadership in KwaZulu-Natal aligns with Rule 12.2.2, 12.2.3, and Rule 12.2.4 of the ANC Constitution, which empowers the National Executive Committee to take necessary steps to ensure the effective functioning of provincial structures. Furthermore, Rule 12.1.4 empowers the NEC to take any appropriate measures to advance the interest of the ANC, including the appointment of interim structures where necessary. The establishment of the Provincial Task Team is in accordance with Rule 12.1.1, which mandates the NEC to ensure the democratic and effective functioning of all ANC structures. This intervention, framed within the constitutional mandate of the NEC, reinforces the principles of unity, renewal, and organizational rebuilding. The ANC draws strength from the legacy of KwaZulu-Natal luminaries such as John Langalbalele Dube, Chief Albert Lutuli, Pixley Kaisaka Seme, Moses Mapida, Florence Mkize, Dr. Yusuf Tadu, Erikwala, R.D. Naidu, Stalwart Simelani, Fatima Mier, Griffiths, and Victoria Mtlenge, and Petham Kize, who dedicated their lives to the struggle for freedom and justice. Their sacrifices remind us of the importance of unity, discipline, and self-service as we work to strengthen our movement and reclaim our role as the trusted leader of transformation. The Provincial Task Team is established as the interim structure to oversee the stabilization of the organization, drive political education, and work towards the revitalization of ANC structures across the province. Additionally, the PTT is mandated to revive relations with Amakosi and faith-based communities, Amabandla, recognizing that these institutions played a foundational role in the rebirth and evolution of the ANC. The ANC acknowledges the historical and moral authority of these structures in guiding our society and affirms the need to strengthen our collaboration to advance unity, social cohesion, and transformation. We will circulate in our statement the members of the Provincial Task Team, and out of the 67 members of the PTT, the following comrades are assigned the following responsibilities. Provincial Convener, Comrade Jeff Khatebe. First Deputy Provincial Convener, Comrade Weziwe Tusi. Second Deputy Provincial Convener, Sboniso Duma. Provincial Coordinator, Comrade Mike Mabuyakulu. Provincial Deputy Coordinator, Comrade Nomusa Dube Ngube. Provincial Fundraiser, Comrade Nomakuku Smelan. We have also appointed additional members with different responsibilities. Ntlagani Pontombela will be the convener of organizing and campaigns. Amanda Bani will be the convener of DCIP. Zintlekele, convener of arts and culture. Mina Lisoma, convener gender and equity. Kwazim Shengu, convener political education. Jomos Biya, convener local government interventions. Nolubabalo Zondi, convener social transformation committee. Sibongiseni, Dr. Sibongiseni Dlomo, convener education and health. Pekim Tolo, convener policy, monitoring and evaluation. And Pekim Tolo will remain on the full-time payroll of the ANC till the term that was defined at the time when he was elected as the provincial secretary. Tandukolo Sabelo, convener legislature and governance. Umtwana Babegile Mtembu, convener sectoral mobilization. Mtombikaise Spidla, convener peace and stability. Pekintuli, convener elections. Nomalungelo Gina, convener economic transformation committee. Toli Kwala, convener drafting. Sbusi Sondebelo, convener international relations. Megi Govenda, convener Provincial Disciplinary Committee, Van Lesbisi Provincial Spokesperson, and an ex officio member of the Working Committee. This comrade, together with the top 6, will constitute the Working Committee of the Provincial Task Team, which has been assigned important political tasks for the first 6 months, which tasks include rebuilding, auditing of ANC structures in KwaZulu-Natal, repositioning the ANC, and at the same time re-engagement with the masses of our people in KwaZulu-Natal. Members of this task team have been deployed in the regions. They've also been deployed in different subcommittees of the ANC in terms of this task team. So the decision of the National Executive Committee, as I conclude, was communicated to all 11 regions. This past weekend, Saturday, we were in Gumede, Erigwala, and eThekwini. On Sunday, we addressed all the regions in KwaZulu-Natal, which are the 11 regions of the African National Congress. We are satisfied that we have respected our structures. Despite some leakages that happened over a period, we have respected our structures by giving them feedback and reporting to them the outcomes of the National Executive Committee in the past weekend. And our structures in KwaZulu-Natal have in no doubt conducted themselves in a disciplined, orderly fashion, in the way the ANC have got to conduct its affairs. It does not mean that they agreed with the decision or they did not have dissenting voices with regard to what they were reading in the press and so on, but they respected the leadership. And in this particular instance, we're satisfied that the center holds and our organization have demonstrated important signs of decency and decorum, which is how the ANC have conducted its affairs over the years, even when faced with difficult issues and challenges. But the ANC has been and will always be an organization of decency and decorum. That is how our structures in KwaZulu-Natal have conducted themselves. We've just finished a 2-hour presentation to the task team here in Moses Mabhida Stadium. We took them through the decision of the NEC, like we did with all our structures, and for them to accurately understand this decision. We have also taken them through what we expect in terms of the program of action of the ANC, that in the first 6 months, what is expected of this provincial task team. And for the first time, they met each other, and then they are going to convene as early as Monday to then give effect to the implementation of the program of action, as we've got no time to waste time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, SG. At this point, I would like to invite any questions.
You said I must introduce, I was reading. That is Noma Kuku Smelani. She's the fundraiser in the task team. And then that is Nomusa Dube. Umtu yamliba lumchwaye. Yes, Lord. Nomusa Dube is the deputy coordinator. Comrade Mike Mabuya Kulu is the coordinator of the task team. Uput Jeff Khatebe is the convener of the task team. The first provincial convener is Umama Uweziwetusi, which I think you are quite familiar with her. She was our MEC for the longest of time in this province. And over and above that, she's been a member of the ANC and our veteran of the African National Congress. Unchebeke Utuma Niamaz, Comrade Siboniso Duma is the second provincial convener. He was our previous chairperson in the province, so he's been retained in the team as the first provincial convener. And then is our veteran, Comrade Spoon Debele, is part and parcel of the team, and he's been assigned the task of international relations and all other tasks also in the task team that has been appointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SG. I now turn to you, colleagues, for questions. I am going to start on my right. I don't see anyone on my right. Shall I? Oh no, the hands have just gone up as I was going to the traditional left. Okay. With that, can I just see those hands? I see NCA. Okay, I'll start with ENCA, followed by my colleague next to CNA, ENCA, and followed by my brother over there. Please go ahead.
One of the reasons for this reconfiguration we are told is based on the electoral performances of the two provinces. One of the reasons. Now, there are other provinces of the ANC that did not do well. Mpumalanga is one of them, the Northern Cape is one of them. In fact, if you look at the performance, it means only two provinces of the ANC may survive reconfiguration in the near future. That is Limpopo and the Eastern Cape. Are you going to be looking at other provinces of the ANC that did not perform well, particularly Mpumalanga and the Northern Cape, even the Free State where you were able to retain political power, but there were some challenges there? That's number one. What happens to those former deployees of the ANC who were the officials who are deployed to the provincial government? Are you not going to tamper with their deployment? Are they safe? Number three, the issue of electoral decline in KwaZulu-Natal is not new. The former deputy provincial chairperson sitting next to you at some point was in office, and his leadership collective also registered a challenge in terms of the electoral decline of the ANC in KZN. It's been very gradual. In other words, are you pinning it completely on this previous structure that you have just reconfigured? And then you said in the next 6 months you have given them a task to rebuild the organization. What are other criteria that are you going to judge them on in terms of performance, and for how long are you going to review their performance? I'm talking about this reconfigured structure. I'll come back later for more. We will have time.
Okay, my name is Clive. I'm from the Witness newspaper, Clive Ndo. I don't know if I heard you correctly, SG. You mentioned something like the entire team is about 67. So usually if you look at the PEC, it's around 35. And also if you look at we used to have a top 5. And now you're talking about top 6. Can you maybe take us through the rationale for the decision to expand the team in that particular way? Because there are some other people could say that you need people with different ideas and everything, but others can say that by bringing in many people, you are actually making it difficult. It becomes difficult to reach decisions. Have you looked at all that? So maybe just take us through the rationale. And the second question is around the regional and the branch structures. So will the same process that we saw, the reconfiguration that took place at the PEC level, will it be cascaded down to the lower structures? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
My name is Chris Makaye. I write for Daily Maverick. My colleagues have covered some of my questions, especially Goke, in as far as these changes, how it will affect the provincial government. But SG, I wanted to ask a further question that you said the first meeting is on Monday. Does it mean that they assume office on Monday, or is it assume office immediately after this meeting? Oh, that's my question for now.
Thank you, Chris. May I see if there's any hand this side? I don't see any. Can I come to the left? And then we will have a second round. Beforehand.
I've been partly covered by my colleagues, but maybe let me just ask the SG if you could perhaps indulge me to deviate from what we're talking about. Looking at yesterday's cabinet decision to reject once more the revised budget by the finance minister, just the reaction of the ANC with regards to that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'm now going to turn to the SG. SG?
Do you want to speak for the mic?
The SG,
Okay.
the SG has extended the opportunity for the two colleagues to comment.
Okay.
We will actually entertain that as well, but once the SG has responded to the questions at the end, towards the end of the press.
Okay, no, thank you. ENCA, are we going to reconfigure others? That's the first question. Reconfiguration is about strengthening the organization and respond to a situation where the party is in a dire situation, where in which we have lost, we have not lost, but we have decreased. We have not just decreased, but we have lost the elections in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We did not just decrease, but we lost elections. We are the third party in the legislature from party number one. The intervention is not punitive. It's about responding to the situation. The NEC agreed that to look at the situation and do nothing about it is not an option. That's why we had a discussion about reinforcement and disbandment. And we went for the reconfiguration, which was inclusion of both. To reconfigure, what it means is that to tamper with the structure, you need to disband. And then reconfigure, bringing other people who are new in terms of the structure, which is what is called now reinforcement. So that's what has basically happened. And you need to do that informed by the Constitution. And that's what we have done, and that was the resolution of the NEC. That was presented by the president of the ANC at the end of that discussion for 2 days that took place in our meeting, which afterwards we briefed you on the decision to reconfigure. And I understand that many people went for dictionaries to try and understand what does reconfiguration means. And others were saying it is not constitutional and all of that. Now, I didn't understand such a simple decision that said reconfigure guided by the Constitution. Didn't they understand that it meant tampering with the structure? We applaud the comrades in the province of KwaZulu-Natal for their discipline and so on in terms of this process. They have understood it quite correctly that it's not punitive, it's to assist and work with the province. And we are now going to work together as this PTT, National Executive Committee and everybody to work on entrenching the ANC and ensuring that the ANC survives in this province going forward. And we have really called upon men and women of this movement who have dedicated their time and everything for the struggle for liberation in our country. So all other provinces understand what it means to maintain being in power and to improve their state of organization. The ANC is embarking upon a massive rebuilding program, ensuring that there are structures and so on. But those structures are not just there, but they are politicized. They understand their tasks and all of that. And then that is why we launched the foundational course on political education to continue to politicize and build consciousness of our members. Deployment of ANC members. Members of the ANC are deployed, and the task team will deal with the matter in terms of the deployment committee. From time to time, they will be assist with that particular issue. ANC decline, you're correct, has been gradual, and that is why we need to put up a fight, and we call it root and branch. We must patiently build the ANC root and branch and not kowtow other political parties. It's not our agenda. Our agenda is to build the ANC as a formidable force. And when we look at post the election, we realized that here in KZN, we need to do that. And that's what we've done now. Our response to the situation is a response with modesty, but with the determination, root and branch, to build the African National Congress. We have accepted our weaknesses as a party, that we are not at the state where we want to be. And we must disabuse ourselves and some who are very negative in terms of these processes to think that this is an apportioning of blame to others. It's a reality that is facing our movement as a collective. And these comrades of KZN have understood that. Over this period, that as much as we do have people in our organization who don't agree on this reconfiguration and all of that, but over time, they will understand that the intentions were noble and the intentions were about building our organization and strengthening our organization on the ground. Leadership cannot be paralyzed and suffer from political paralysis when they are faced with a situation. The reality is, we went to an election, we got clobbered here in KZN, and it has actually shown some defects in terms of our state of organization. That required leadership to act to strengthen the organization. Nobody has been thrown to the streets here. We've got everybody on board. And that is what is important, and to basically strengthen our organization in the province. Comrades, in terms of the review of this structure, it will be reviewed, not with the aim of any other thing, to review the program of action. The only thing that can make us deal with the structure is if the structure itself that has been strengthened is not doing what it is expected to do. We have given these comrades clear tasks of what they need to do, and we will be working with them. The first part of the task is to do an audit of all structures of the organization and intervene decisively. There are many, but this is internal for us. So Monday, they will meet to decide practically how are they going to confront this task. It's a mammoth of task. It's not a small task. The time to lament the loss and kowtow other political parties is all over. Our task now is to rebuild the organization in KwaZulu-Natal, and that will begin in earnest. And that is why on Monday they will meet to give an expression to the very tasks that we have actually given them. So we didn't just put a task team without giving them tasks and the program of action. First 6 months to us are very critical, are very important in terms of the rebuilding of the ANC. ENCA Rationale decision to expand, EWN, sorry. Look, in the Free State we had about 47, we had 57, and all of that. It's good to have a big team. that will do the work. In KZN, you've got 11 regions. You've got a huge population. So it needs men and women who will do this work. And that is why bringing the old and the new is very important in terms of this work. Idle minds breed evil ideas. The program of action implemented from week, month to month, year to year is going to minimize complaints and all of that, and focus the structures on work that needs to be done. And we are very happy about the signs we have seen from the discipline of the comrades. None of the meetings we addressed this past weekend, comrades arrived there with pangas. And comrades were rowdy, were ill-disciplined. They all came, listened to the decision and asked questions where they don't understand, but they understood that we are a party of 40% and we need to react to that differently. And those signs must be maintained. It shows an organization that is appreciating the moment that it's in, that it's not a moment to be going around, talking about leadership positions and all of that as a priority. The priority now is how do we bring the ANC back and at the same time as a formidable force. And that is what is important for us. The numbers are good, but those numbers can deteriorate if people are not assigned to tasks and they don't follow up on their work. As we leave Moses Mabhida Stadium, we have presented a program of action, tasks to the team. We have assigned each and every member to a task. If one member of this task team will be loyal to the task assigned, then we will win the rest of the other things that we need to win. Will reconfiguration cascade? No. The tasks say you audit, meaning you get down to business. As they meet and decide in the next 6 months where we will be, by April, even before Easter, they will be having a report on their table that says, what is the state of affairs in KZN? Not thumb-sucking. If we don't have a region, in a particular region we are depleted, there will be intervention. There is no blank approach that says go and disband structures because it is our time, we are in charge now. No. It's a program that is going to be monitored, supported by Rationale, working with the comrades on the ground, week in and week out. What is the state of affairs in eThekwini? Do we have a structure here? Do we have structures? Do we have branches? If we don't have a branch, there must be a branch of the ANC that breathes life to society in that particular area. That's how organization is built. And then the coordinator here, when he gives us a report, he will say that, SG, of course we don't have an organization, but we didn't understand it to be so severe. Decisions will be taken right there and there, not by Christmas, there and there, about what must happen to Region A, Region B, based on empirical evidence, not just on deciding that comrades have got problems and all of that. No. There is organization on the ground, it is breathing, and we need to give meaning to that. And that's what is going to happen. So cascading to the ground is not a given. It will be informed by the work that this task team is doing in interacting with structures. And on the basis of that, themselves, they must be convinced that there is no organization on the ground and we need to reorganize. Where there is no organization at all, task teams must come in. Where people have been working for other political parties, wearing our colors and all of that, we must intervene and get members of the ANC to work for the ANC on the ground. And that's what is going to happen. Daily Maverick, no, the task has been assigned as we are now. We are a task team. If you want to talk to Prajeff and talk to him about his ideas and what he thinks about this task team and so on, you can do so. They are fully fledged task team. So we have addressed them. We have done what we call inauguration. We have explained in terms of what. I've explained to you that we've been to the structures of the organization. It was important for us to do that so that we don't relate with members of the ANC through the media. As much as we appreciate the platform you give us, it helps us also to communicate to our members. But our members must not get news about their organization in the media. It's unfortunate that some of our people have undermined the decorum of our organization by leaking stuff to the media before we talk to our structures. But we have stood by the principle of decency and the protocols of the organization that when you take a decision of this magnitude, you first report to the structures. And that's what we've done even in Gauteng. 5 regions, we've interacted with them. We've briefed the previous PC about the decision of the organization. Tomorrow, we will be inaugurating the PC, the PTT of Gauteng tomorrow. That's what we'll do. Thank you very much. Okay, the question of the SAPC. Okay, the question of the SAPC about the budget. Government does not work the way others seek to project it. And we can't talk with firmness that the Minister of Finance presentation of the revised budget, whatever that he presented, has been rejected by Cabinet. Cabinet will speak for itself on the matters. So we don't believe that there is a decision that rejects the minister's budget proposals. What we know is that Cabinet is seized with the matter of the budget to ensure that we present to South Africa on the 12th something that will be aligned to our priorities, but over and above, something that is informed by fiscal discipline and intervention and bring about stability, because that's what is important. What the minister have said to us in terms of the postponement in public was that there are suggestions that require them as Treasury to have some time if they were to effect them. That the executive then took a decision to then postpone, to ask the legislature to postpone to enable the executive to finish that work. And that's where we are, and we are waiting for that process to come to finality. We note the mischief of some, and like we said, they must be reined in. Because as ministers, you take oath, and we are not, Cabinet is not a political party, it's communicate with citizens. And if you tell citizens that there were differences to the point where the minister's budget review proposals were rejected, you are misinforming and confusing the public. And the president must rein on those people in terms of the law. Those who sit with their friends and misinform the public. We are expecting government to come back to us on the 12th of March with a budget to be presented to the nation as the African National Congress. We expect our government to come back on the 12th with a budget. Snippets to us amount to mischief, and they simply undermine the decorum of our government in dealing with difficult issues. Of course, you need to note that these are uncharted waters, but at the same time, it's not something that has not been done elsewhere in the world. Of course, perceptions and image may affect our country that we failed to table the budget and we postpone. Yes, our system will be shocked, but we must have shock absorbers. That we arrived in Cape Town, we expect budget to be presented, and then it is postponed. We are not used to that. Of course, it will affect our image. It will affect perceptions about how matters of this nature are attended to. But we are confident that postponement that enables government to do the right thing for the benefit of its citizens is the right thing to do, rather than to present something that will make all of us to be in the streets tomorrow based on misinformation and all of that. So we think that a responsible government must act in the manner in which government has done. And members of cabinet belonging to other political parties in the GNU must act with restraint and respect the decorum of government. And leave this thing of leaking to their friends misinformation. What was said in cabinet, this and that, the first headlines come to light that Enoch was rejected. And then immediately there is a fake stamp on that. Since when is government speaking through faceless sources? We expect Minister Nchaveni on behalf of government to communicate decisions that need to be communicated in the public. But we know, all of us, that there was a cabinet meeting and cabinet is hard at work on this particular matter because it affects the lives of people. Our borrowing capacity, we are told, has been exhausted. Of course, we have maintained the debt levels and managed our debt situation very responsibly over the years. And then we are told that we need more resources and revenue to fund major projects. Employment of teachers. You had even some irresponsible general here made remarks about SANDF over the weekend and all of that. SANDF, all of those things must be funded. Social security net, for it to be maintained, those things need to be funded. So where is the money going to come from if there is a shortfall? Government must address that. And it is called a fiscal intervention in this particular instance. We need to stabilize, but we need stability in this particular regard. And these are the things that government considers. And in South Africa, we are not used to debating budget. We are used to that cabinet, MINCOM part, they meet, and then the executive, the minister goes and addresses the nation. Now we are in the government of national unity, things are different. And we need to respect that. For budget to pass in parliament, it has got to be taken, we need to engage with others. Not only others, but even COSATU, civil society, and the rest. So those who want to hold us at ransom seek to suggest that they can stop things. No, they cannot. We can still go ahead, do things and all of that, but our decreased majority have actually brought us to where we are. Under normal circumstances, budget would have been passed in a particular way because the ANC was in power. So when these things happened in this environment, they sent shocks in our system, but at the end of the day, we need to get used to that because we are operating in uncharted waters and it's a new environment. So our government will come back on the 12th and present the budget, and that is what we expect. That there are meetings where people discuss and differ and make suggestions, it's a program of government. It's to be expected. Now, after every meeting, there's going to be a leak, and all of that. Government can't be run like that. Those individuals must be reined in terms of the prescripts of the law and the oath they have taken. Because as a cabinet minister, I don't remember me leaking cabinet decisions. Uput Jeff is I was telling comrades, is the oldest minister in cabinet. Ndangena ku government, ndamfumana pha ndamshiya pha. So he knows how government works. We don't leak You don't even talk to your wife about cabinet decisions. Yes. You are not allowed. You are not allowed. So to talk to journalists about cabinet decision, you are breaking the law. It's not a threat. It's the truth. GNU did not change how cabinet operates. It didn't. It operates the same way. So intelligence and everybody must be able to deal with these people who make our cabinet to look like a Mickey Mouse, to borrow the... So we must. It doesn't mean that people must not express their view. They must be respected. We know now that budgets are very key. Budget is not just budget. It's a political tool. And I can't imagine as the ANC, like in 1994, as I conclude, we came in government, we said that we'll give people RTP, we'll give people houses for free, everything for free. We had what we call Reconstruction and Development Program. When we got into government, that apartheid government left us with a debt. We had now to decide, what are we going to do? We said to our people, we'll give them free houses and all of that and everything else, education and so on. How are we going to achieve this with this debt before us, with a bankrupt economy that we actually had? Our response to that was gear, which COSATU doesn't like. We had to achieve macroeconomic stability for the country. We are in that cycle, albeit differently, that our economy is not performing well, and we need to maintain the balance of meeting the basic needs of the people, but at the same time, get resources to basically meet those basic needs. As the ANC, we wouldn't agree that certain things, of course, there will be changes, but must be done away with. Like others say, the DA says, cut, 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 cut. We don't believe in cutting. And the minister is caught between the rock and the hard place. Austerity this side, and then on the other side, where are you going to generate enough financial resources to fund what is required by this budget? There are many suggestions that are on the table. IEJ, many intellectuals and economic experts are making suggestions of what must actually happen. But the reality of the matter is that we are confronted with these challenges, and how do we address them? It's important. A responsible government must do that. So when the minister maybe says VAT 2%, people are going to say, we don't agree with that. There are other solutions. What are those solutions? A cabinet led by Matamela, our president, must exercise its mind over that, even if it means postpone the budget to keep and address the challenges that we are faced. It's for the benefit of me and you. If Enoch was to go to a budget speech and say that there are changes that have been effected, Treasury is going to say to him, that thing you were reading there, what informed it? Did you do the number crunching? He will say, no, I didn't. And then you plunge the country into a crisis. The markets are falling, there is chaos and anarchy and all of that. We can't allow that. So government must exercise its authority and all of that and deal with matters responsibly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, SG. I am winding down, so I'm going to take any hand as the last. There's a very active corner over there, but I will start with the brother who hasn't raised a question. Yeah, right at the beginning. I see another hand there before Clive and ANC. Please go ahead.
No, we are done. We are done. Let's just
Khumbula iqhamuka independent media. Yeah. So knowing that ANC does not enjoy the majority anymore, so it looks like the passing of the budget hinges on GNU, right? Now we know that okay, there are differences. So there are parties that says no to VAT, and I want to be specific to the ANC, whether the ANC support VAT increase. If it does not, so which one the ANC prefers between wealth tax and VAT? Just two questions.
I'm hoping that those that will follow
We have answered that question in our statement, and then we will want you to refer to that. And we have given government space to address the challenges. To us, the question is not about whether we agree or not agree. The question is, how do we address the challenges that are before us? Do we have a middle road? And that is what government is doing. Government has briefed on this matter, which we have supported the postponement and all of that, and that is what is key. We have answered that particular question. And I will answer it after the 12th.
Let's avoid the dialogue. The follow-up on this question, let us leave it at that. I'm happy for us to pick it up offline and provide further information to ION. Yourself, my brother?
My name is Sandile Mota. I am a reporter with the Sunday World. There's a view actually which obviously says that perhaps the timing of the reconfiguration was somehow wrong, in a sense that just next year you are going to the municipal elections, and perhaps that might put the party in the back foot, might put the ANC in the back foot, specifically in this province of KZN, with the resurgence of the IFP. Was that perhaps that perception considered within the NEC before they arrived at this particular decision? Thank you.
Yes, just a follow-up on the expanded PTT, the 67 members. The MK party, Secretary General Floyd Chibambu, when he tabled the organization's constitution a few months ago, he also announced that there will be dual membership in the MK. And the reason for that is that they don't want those who are working for them in other organizations to be exposed. So that's the rationale of the, and you also alluded to the fact that there would be some ANC members who wear ANC t-shirt, but while they are working for other political parties. So I was just checking, since this is now an expanded PTT of 67 people, was there maybe some sort of vetting that was done to ensure that there are no people there who are actually working for the MK party? Yeah.
Usipamanda Koke from ANC again. Are you not worried that there is a possibility of litigation? Disgruntled, unhappy members may contemplate going to court over this. Number two, if I hear you correctly, Nopala, pardon me if I'm too slow to understand. According to your rationale, just because you have not lost political power in Mpumalanga and Northern Cape, you will wait for now up until you lose power to intervene. But in the Northern Cape, you are co-governing with the help of the Freedom Front Plus. You declined there, but according to your rationale, if I hear you correctly, you need to be out of power for you to intervene. If I'm wrong, please correct me there. Number two, in terms of time, you were correct to say you don't have time. You were meant to take this decision and communicate this reconfiguration process last year. In hindsight, do you regret taking more than 3 months to do so? Bearing in mind that next year, if my memory serves me well, the province of KwaZulu-Natal is due to hold its provincial conference and their local government elections. You wasted time that you do not have. In hindsight, do you think it would have been ideal to take and communicate this decision in December as you had initially planned? Number two, I'm trying to understand in terms of the mandate that you are giving this reconfigured structure. No one comes to the ANC with his or her own individual ideas. They are guided by the constitution of the ANC, policies of the ANC. What is it that you expect of them differently to deviate from the mandate of the ANC to revive this structure? Or you want them to stick to the tried and tested method of the ANC of doing things that got you to lose power?
ANC electoral decline has been gradual. Even at national, you at some point were the head of elections. You registered a decline. Ubabu Jeff Radebe next to you was the head of policy for many years in the ANC. How do you respond to critics who say no matter what you do, no matter how you reconfigure, ANC's successive failures in economic policies to address economic growth, to deal with unemployment and poverty is the main reason why you lost power, coupled with other secondary issues? Yes, when it comes to social security, the ANC-led government has done well. Housing, social grants, health, education, you did well there. But from 1994 up until now, successive ANC-led governments have failed to deal with the issue of economic growth. Even under former President Mbeki, with the economy growing, it was a jobless growth and a jobless economy because the gap was widening, poverty, inequality, and unemployment. My question is, how do you respond to those who say failure to address the issue of the economy is what brought you here to lose power and to continue to register this electoral decline? How do you respond, number two, to those who say the ANC runs one election campaign nationally and provincially? If the message of the ANC does not resonate with the electorate in KZN and Gauteng, yet it resonates with the electorate in Limpopo, in the Eastern Cape, and somewhere else, don't you think that somewhere, somehow, the national leadership of the ANC must take blame and responsibility for the message not to resonate with the electorate in certain quarters of the country, but resonate with others in some parts of the country? You have one face of the ANC. You have one election campaign. How do you respond to that criticism? Do you believe that cabinet must be cut to save cost?
I didn't say in conclusion, I assume that you got that. Okay. That will be the last question. The SG will then respond. Immediately after that, I will invite Comrade Jeff to speak, SG, with your kind permission, whether before you, or I think what the SG has responded.
Yeah, we will
so
close.
Pardon?
Comrade Jeff will close.
Comrade Jeff will close. But after the SG, I'm also going to ask the coordinator, Comrade Mabia Kulu, to just make a few remarks in response to the task entrusted upon both himself and Comrade Jeff and the entire collective. And then we will end with the Comrade Jeff.
I think we must release Comrade Boniso. He's got a departmental function, and I have given him instructions to stay. So that he doesn't leave unceremoniously, because Goge is going to say he marched out of the press conference. Yeah. So I just needed to deal with that. Thank you very much. First, independent media, we have answered your question. Reconfiguration. Sunday World. It's not putting the ANC in the back foot. This is in motion. Everything is in a state of motion, is unfolding, and we need to arrest any weakness that may exacerbate total decimation of the ANC. So we need to understand it as such. So we are not on the back foot. The onus is on the ANC to prepare itself to get out of this situation and avoid total decimation. As to whether this reconfiguration, reinforcement, and all of that is going to help us or not, we'll work flat out to ensure that it does work as an organization, as a whole, and support it, and focus the comrades on the task. That includes the task of the elections. That's what we're going to do. Vetting. The process will vet people. Yeah, the process will vet people. We don't doubt the bona fides of all these comrades. If individuals in the team are working for other political parties, the process will expose them. And then, as such, we have said to comrades, you start to work in the team and work for others, and we find you that you are negative, you'll be recused. It's simple as that. If we come across an individual in the task team that they are excreting negative, in the lack of better words, negative energy, we'll put them aside. That's what we'll do. But we did not put everybody in this reconfigured task team on the basis that we are in doubt of their bona fides. Everyone is treated with decency and understanding that they are ANC members. And the process will define some if they work with other political parties, and they will be then put aside. Litigation, yes, it is possible that somebody, as we speak, could be running to court, but we are ready to defend our decisions, as we always do. Our decisions are informed by the ANC Constitution. If they want to test it in terms of that, we will be in court to defend the decisions. But this decision has been embraced by all our structures. Political reconfiguration is a political thing that is understood by our structures, and that's what is important for the ANC. It's not about egoistic individuals who think that things must evolve around themselves. They deserve better than anybody. The ANC does not belong to them. We will take them on and deal with them accordingly, even in terms of the law. We are intervening here as a political intervention to get our organization from what could be existential crisis that we are facing. And that's what we have done. And our members have embraced that in this moment, and we are happy about that. And I've spoken at length about it. Northern Cape, we are not governing with Freedom Front Plus. We're governing on our own. We lost one seat, and we're crippled by KZN Mackenzie with 3% that he got from our constituency base. But let me explain to you once more that our intervention is not because we lost. It's an intervention that is about how do we recoup. That's what is important. And if you think of reconfiguration for other provinces to do the same, it will not fit the size of everything, what we have started here. Here in KZN, we have lost power. Yes, in Mpumalanga, you've got to improve. I know Mpumalanga people were very worried that if we were to agree with disbandment and all of that, it means it's coming to us. So those comrades, and we kept on telling them, this is a political thing. It's not about that. Why will you disband a structure where you are in power in terms of governance, and at the same time you are running the organization there? You need to fix what needs to be fixed in the organization. When we go to Mpumalanga, we realize that A must be fixed. It's a problem to our fortunes in terms of the elections. It must be fixed. But we are running government there. South Africans have given us overwhelming power in Mpumalanga. Yes, of course, numbers have decreased, but we are running government. So we must be in a position to use government to get back to our numbers in Mpumalanga. That's what we need to do. Yeah, we have lost power, we have reconfigured, and at the same time, we are putting up a battle to come back. You know, 17% is not a child's play. The ANC has never been party number 3. We lost 1.3 million people away from us. 1.3 million people went away. and we have analyzed the factors of what happened and so on. We don't blame it on anyone. We need to self-correct. We need to do what is right, and that's why we are here where we are with Reconfiguration, working with everybody in the province to rebuild the organization going forward. It was ideal to take the decision, I believe. Tried and tested methods, you don't implement one and the same thing. If it doesn't work and it's working for you, you don't change it. What is not working, you change it. So as we engage in the re-engagement campaign of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, we will do the things that needs to be done, and we have analyzed correctly what are the things that have made some of the constituencies to move away from us. And we need to address that. Remember what I said, root and branch. We don't kowtow other political parties. What parties are doing here and all of that, we don't have to make them our business. Let's do what is right for the ANC. The people will respond. And we need to ensure that root and branch, the ANC does exist. If you forget everything I've said today, remember these two. Root and branch, kowtow. Other political parties will cease. The ANC must cease to do that. Yes, we have registered a decline. We have, over time. Never have we ever seen something like this, like an existential crisis. And that is why we say to our structures, it's fine to discuss leadership about who's going to lead the ANC. It's the simplest of things at the end of the day, which we have persuaded our members out of that. We will discuss this when we are in power, and then talk about who becomes the next leader, because we're in charge. And probably you'll be discussing who becomes a leader when the ANC is out of power. It's an opposition. So let's work to regain power and recovery. That is what is important. We agree with you that some of the reasons that led to us losing power is objective reality. That has got nothing to do with the province, among others. It has got to do with how the economy performs. Do we create jobs? Sometimes we have done so much for the people of South Africa in terms of our social security net, but people do not register and go and vote for the ANC. So what do we need to do as a party? So it's not one solution for everything. There's a plethora of factors that have led to our decline. Of course, part of those, it involves matters of service delivery. It was load shedding before the elections. Remember when we were campaigning on the ground, people were saying, this load shedding, come the 25th, it will be back. And when we celebrated 300 days, long after the elections, and now we are back into load shedding, and we have been assured by Sputla and ESCOM that it will end in 5 days. But our strategic goal is to ensure that permanently this load shedding is behind us. South Africans believe ESCOM leadership and what Sputla is saying in terms of government, that there are breakdowns technically that have taken place in Camden and other power stations that have forced them to bring load shedding, and that they will overcome this. But over and above that, they are on track to get us out of this. We believe them. And they have assured us that in 5 days it will be gone. So this also affected the ANC in the campaign. Outburst of transformers in the townships. These hit squads, scams that are happening in our townships, are taking the infrastructure, including water infrastructure, to force tenders for tankers. these are the challenges we are facing on a daily basis. Attacking of the infrastructure that affect, people accessing the grid in terms of the electricity. These are the challenges we are dealing with, and so on. So when the ANC is in total disarray, non-existent, and transformers have been destroyed, and all these things are happening, what will society look up to? They decide that we are on our own. This ANC government is failing us, and it begin to affect the moral of our society, even to go and vote. So that is it. The last point, ANC message is one. The elections campaign are run like that. You have one message, but you can adapt. And then you can adapt even in KZN and all of that. These comrades are very much experienced in this work, and we will work with them. So the election campaign should be dynamic. You've got one face, I can see what you're talking about and what you are thinking about. I can read your mind. But the elections campaigns are dynamic in a way. I ran the most successful campaign with Comrade Jeff in 2009. And then we had COPE. Yes, and then we finished with Brajev. And I think these comrades in the table here and all our comrades are very much experienced. The question for the ANC is to stand up and fight back. This thing of egos, of being worried about that person and this, is not going to work. What is important, and that is why we've got faith in this leadership, that comrades will be focused on the task. All other frails, I call them frails, because they are easy to deal with. Who becomes a leader, it's going to be sorted out among us, quick and fast. And we may not even have a contest if discussions go well. Or we can have even a contest. It's an easy thing. The biggest thing before us is our existence. Our organization is out of power. We've got no luxury to be entertaining people with egos and falsehood that they want to become leaders at any given point in time and so on, and forget about this mess we are in and how we get out of it. And we are very much encouraged by our membership that have seen wisdom in this decision, and that it's time now to work flat out to recover the lost ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SG. I'm going to ask Comrade Mike, the coordinator of this task team, to just quick reflections, and then after which I will invite Comrade Jeff as the convener of the team to make a few remarks. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Maklengi, Comrade SG, and the leadership as a whole, members of the media. Mine is very quick. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say that we want to clarify one matter which was raised, and that is the matter about our deployees in government, particularly in the government of provincial unity. We will give full maximum support to all our deployees to continue to do their work that they've been deployed by the African National Congress to do. And there is no doubt about that. And secondly, we must say we will ensure that we stabilize the government of provincial unity, and there should be absolutely no doubt about where our loyalty lies when it comes to the government of provincial unity. We're part of this government of provincial unity, and this collective will ensure that that government continues to do its work, and it is fully supported to the best of our abilities. The second and the last point, we often say that the test of the pudding is always in the eating. When it comes to our mandate, we are very clear, and that mandate has been made very clear by the SG and the national leadership, the National Executive Committee, the national officials, and the National Working Committee. We will then be meeting to actually finalize a program of action. And already it's been indicated by the SG that meeting is scheduled for next week. So as early as next week, we will be able to then present a report of the program of action, which will then be considered as well as adopted by the provincial task team. So we're very clear. We understand our marching orders, we understand our task, and we're all interested in taking this responsibility. We understand the nature of the task, and we have no illusion about the critical importance of this task. But we are also equally ready to execute the task to the best of our abilities. And that is our comment that we can say for now.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mike. Just before handing over to Comrade Jeff, I think it is incumbent upon me to introduce the spokesperson. If you could stand, Comrade Fanle, CBC. I'm sure some of you colleagues may know him. He will be responsible for communicating the message of the ANC to the people of KwaZulu-Natal through yourselves, and for cultivating healthy relationships with members of the media as our partners and as our stakeholders, and to ensure that at all times we continue to build a positive and a healthy relationship with members of the media. So going forward, I now hand over to him after this press briefing. Thank you very much, Comrade Fanle. And with that said, I now hand over to Comrade Jeff for the final word, and then has already been granted that permission to do so by the SG. Over to you, Comrade Jeff.
Thank you, Mahlengi. Firstly, I would like to thank the National Executive Committee for showing confidence in me and my colleagues of the top 6 here in KwaZulu-Natal. We shall leave no stone unturned in ensuring that the marching orders of the National Executive Committee are executed. Meaning our role is very simple. The constitution of the ANC is available. Conference resolution is there. The manifesto of the ANC is there. The decision of the ANC is very, very clear. What we're going to be doing is to set out the battle plan on Monday of the provincial task team to ensure that we implement this. We face an existential threat. Losing elections is no mean matter. It means that our own members are disgruntled. It means that our supporters are disgruntled. We need to bring everybody back home. We can only do that if we humble ourselves as the ANC and start from ground zero, building root and branch as the Secretary General has articulated. After this press conference, the top 6 are going to be meeting in order to start that process of preparing for this meeting of the provincial task team on Monday, where each and every one of us has been assigned the responsibility is for now to draw out that battle plan like a military operation. We are going to succeed. We're going to be reviving all those cadres of the organization who are in the branch leadership of the ANC, even those who are no longer in branch leadership, but who have played a role in the building of the structures of the ANC. We're going to be bringing back all those cadres of the ANC provincial-wide to ensure that they reinforce this team. This is a team that must win so that we can be able to take back the ANC where it belongs, here in KwaZulu-Natal. As I said, as I conclude, after this, the officials of the ANC here in KwaZulu-Natal are meeting. We are not going to leave until we're satisfied that we're going to be ready for Monday, where each one of us will know the battle orders. We've had the orders, Comrade SG, and our responsibility and role is to follow the order to its maximum participation. Thank you very much.
Kholani izandla.